Do you remember a couple of years ago when Nova Scotia was burning down and a retired firefighter collected a bunch of other firefighters to get together to offer help? And do you remember that Nova Scotia said, no, thank you? I remember. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me. If you're new to my channel, I used to work for mainstream news. I worked for Global News for many years. I worked for CTV a little bit too. I worked for City TV. I worked all over the place. And one thing is for sure, that the news is very good at propaganda. Okay. The news is very good at you've got to do the right thing because it involves health. So only good people do the right thing, right? So you've got to take your jab. So that's, propagandizing your health and your goodness. There's atrocity propaganda, war propaganda, right? Look at these terrible things that are happening. Oh, well, this is why we've got to give money to Ukraine, or this is why we've got to give money over here. And now we're having climate propaganda, complete and total climate propaganda. I was watching a little bit of CTV News with Sandy Ronaldo today when I was at the gym, and so they talked about this Nova Scotia story, just basically said, yeah, it sucks, but we got to do it. We got to do it. And right after that, the next story that they went into was covering Spain, how there was some hot weather and hot temperatures causing some problems in Spain. And they showed these really fiery pictures. So once you come off a Nova Scotia story saying how hot it is, and then you go to another part of the world, look, it's hot. It's hot, hot, hot. That you're just putting that into someone's mind. It's hot, hot, hot. Oh my God, we got to do something, and we got to do the right thing. So let's watch the story from the CBC. It's not a bad story. Let's just see the latest here. We know that Nova Scotia lost its mind, but now New Brunswick, the premier there, Susan Holt.
Crown lands are off limits in New Brunswick.
Get out of the woods and stay out of the woods.
The province's premier announcing the
get out and stay out. She's not mincing words. She's very direct. So someone has told her, you get on, you do that press conference and you lay it down, woman. Lay it down.
Restrictions this weekend to prevent more wildfires like this growing one near Miramichi.
We are really hoping that at the end of all this, we will have issued 0 fines.
This just days after Nova Scotia issued a similar ban. No hiking, camping, fishing, or ATV use in the forest.
I'm losing sleep about what's happening.
The premier says the strict measures are a small price to pay to avoid devastating wildfires.
You must do
like getting your jab, doing the thing, just lining up and getting it. It's a small price to pay to keep everyone safe. So this is just a small price to pay. Your freedom of movement, where you can go. This is just a little, price for the greater good.
Do everything possible to protect each other.
Those who
don't. Oh gosh, once again, protecting each other. Keywords. These should all be not keywords anymore, but trigger words.
Don't comply face a $25,000 fine.
So I'm going to walk down here and go into these woods.
In a video posted on social media, Nova Scotia resident Jeff Evely filmed himself deliberately stepping into the woods. He's one of more than a dozen people already fined in Nova Scotia.
I have a ticket here, $28,870.50.
Some say officials have gone too far.
Government isn't my dad. This overreach in the name of keeping us safe and protected needs to stop.
I can't even take my puppy up the road and go for a walk down the trail. That's to me, that's extreme.
But fire officials argue it's necessary with extreme fire conditions. Nova Scotia has banned activities on Crown lands twice in the past decade.
The vast majority of fires in Nova Scotia are human caused. We should be able to prevent virtually all of our fires here in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you just a little bit more of New Brunswick Premier here, Susan Holt.
Me going for a walk in the woods is going to cause a fire. I can understand why people think that that's ridiculous. But the reality is, it's not that you might cause a fire. It's that if you're out there walking in the woods and you break your leg, we're not going to come and get you, because we have emergency responders that are out focused on a fire that is threatening the lives of New Brunswickers. And if you take your boat out fishing in a pond in Crown Land and you capsize, we're not going to be able to come and help you out, because our first responders.
Okay, this is complete nanny state. Complete nanny state. Why don't you just ban everything? Skydiving, bungee jumping, everything's dangerous. Just stay in your house and order DoorDash and Amazon. Okay? Just stay in your house.
Are focused on an immediate and serious threat to our province. And so it's the possibility of diverting emergency resources away from where they are really needed.
Oh,
Me going for a walk in the
what do they care? What do they care? Because I'm going to show you an example of what this firefighter Peter McIsaac had to say. Oh, if you trip in the woods, you know, you're going to break your leg and we can't save you. If your boat capsizes, we can't save you. Why don't you stop trying to save us? First of all, you don't know the first thing, the government, about keeping us healthy. So don't tell us the first thing about firefighting. It was a couple of years ago that I interviewed Peter McIsaac. This is a couple of years old now, but he's a retired firefighter, got a bunch of people together. He did a video that went completely viral because they didn't want his help. They, you know, here they are going, oh, we don't have resources. We don't have anyone around to help you. And this guy goes, hey, I can help you fight these fires. And the province actually said, no, thank you.
And we're the type of guys that had the experience that said, if you make a mistake here, you're going to lose homes.
Right.
And they just said, nope, we appreciate thanks, but no thanks.
So there's a lot of speculation brewing around out there as to why they said no thanks. And I'm sure you've heard these stories. I mean, I don't know how much credence you put on them, but do you think they refused for any other reason? Do you think they refused because they want things to burn?
Well, without getting into too much speculation, the other thing I did as part of my job for a good bulk of my career, I was also an investigator. I was a game warden or conservation officer. And one of the things I was trained in was fire investigation. And when I look at decisions that were made and the fact that Nova Scotia was the trial balloon for I guess what we'd call a climate lockdown, unprecedented measures were taken in Nova Scotia to lock people out of all forest activity. It wasn't supposed to be lifted until June 25th. And this was back in May. You know, this was some time ago when these fires started. And the premier and the team of advisors he had around him made one of the most rash decisions I've ever seen made in forest firefighting. He said, nobody in the woods for the next month, period.
Right.
If you light a fire on your barbecue, $25,000 fine. And to me, I just watched Justin Trudeau do a video 2 days ago who said, you know, what we learned from the COVID lockdowns, we can apply to the climate emergency, I guess is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
And so what happened here was unprecedented. Over my 29-year career, I might have seen 3, possibly, fire bans where you weren't allowed to travel bans for in the woods when it was dry.
Right.
Agriculture Canada was very specific that said we didn't have a drought situation. We just had a dry spring. Every spring, the odds of forest fires go up because it's called pre-green up. Until everything turns green, anything that's dry can burn. For example, I watched the videos in Quebec where I think it's 12 or 13 fires all lit at the exact same time with no over.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
As an investigator with a lot of years experience, that looked to me like coordinated arson.
All of Quebec just caught on fire all at once on a clear day. I would say this would be some kind of terrorism of some kind or an attack. Here it is. Here we are. I'm going to let the images load. You can see this morning. It's clear. Just partly cloudy skies. Nothing really crazy going on there. And then, well, here's last night. Here's today. All of Southeast Quebec just caught on fire, guys.
I can't come up with anything else. I watched CBC try to do a take on it the other day, saying we talked to professionals, and maybe it was a lightning storm that went through a couple of weeks ago when it smoldered and all these fires started at the same time. That's absolute nonsense rubbish.
Why would you refuse? Why would the province refuse his help? And why do the like? I also did an interview with somebody a long time ago, and after we were done the conversation, they started talking to me about firefighting. I can't remember who it was. And he was telling me they have these helicopters, and we have them in BC. Those they drop buckets and buckets of water, and we don't use those for some reason. I don't know why they're not in use. Why don't you throw some money at that? So, and I believe they're not in use anywhere in Canada, but I'm not too sure on that. Now, this does make me think of things of the WEF, right? There's a network, there's an alliance, there's an agenda, and Canada is very wrapped up in this agenda. And that's how all these things happen. Like the COVID thing happened because all the young global leaders all over the world, sort of they're all in lockstep. So at the time that COVID happened, it was Boris Johnson, young global leader, Angela Merkel, same, Emmanuel Macron, Jacinda Ardern, Justin Trudeau. I mean, that's how all these things sort of happen all over the world, because the WEF goes and covets the best of the best, right? Well, so they think. They go and covet sort of leaders or people who are excelling in politics, in media, in science, in government, as scholars. They covet these people and they invite them to the WEF to do like what is called like a 2-year, no, it's a 3-year transformational program is what they call it. But let's look a little bit. Let's look at some stuff from the WEF. Okay, so this is something from this month. This is dated August 4th. This is from the World Economic Forum website. Extreme wildfires are here to stay. Fighting them requires a fundamental and structural shift. Okay, and look at the picture. They love to show you an inferno. God knows how these things are caused. Human-caused climate change is increasing the likelihood of extreme climate-driven wildfires globally. Rather than as isolated local emergencies, wildfires must be tackled as a global structural threat. This is not just going to happen country to country. This is a global thing. I'm very wary of it. I am very wary of this. And I started to look up, the WEF is not as a non-governmental agency, right? Canada, most leaders in Canada, I wish that they would just be like, okay, we don't care about you. We don't care what you say. We'll do our own thing. Thank you very much. We should be denouncing them having any power over us. And it made me look up like why Canada is doing this. This is a complete and total climate lockdown. It's lockdown number 2, because I think they're pushing you to see how far you're going to go. Are you going to like sit down and take it? And how much influence, obviously, do they have on Canada? Tons. Trudeau is a WEFer. Chrystia Freeland's a WEFer. Mark Carney's a WEFer. Woof, woof, wef, wef, right? So, and then all I did was put in the search, Canada's connection to WEF. Like I started to click around on some pages, and the pages, the website was doing this. Like, this page has been archived. The information is provided for reference or research purposes. It has not been altered or updated since it was archived. So they're not updating any information for us either. This is from January 25th, 2018 in Davos. There's Trudeau there. And then I started to look up. I found that odd because that was like the second or third page that I had visited that just wasn't giving me anything. Okay, here's another page. I'm just doing random Googling Canada and the WEF. And then I see this page. We have archived this page and will not be updating it. It's the same message as the last page. And this is just random. It's just ministers to represent Canada at World Economic Forum. Okay, so we like going there. And they name some of the ministers, and they're not updating these pages. It's like, what are they trying to keep secret? The WEF annual meeting is a unique international platform that brings together more than 2,500 of the world's top leaders and decision makers from government, business, and civil society. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what I said. That's why I like that guy that defied the orders. You've got to defy the orders, but you can't make him stand alone. You got to join together with him. Okay. And you take that fine and you just rip it up and throw it in the garbage. But then they threaten jail time. They harsh punishment to keep you safe. I know you guys get it. The people that are watching, you guys get it. Okay, that's it for me today. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, if you enjoy my content, like it, love it, subscribe, hit the bell, do what you gotta do, and pass it around.